All right, 17.
Now we also need to hold the one on the bottom.
Kids have the right tools for
like a Jenga tower.
What's going on, guys? Chaseontwowheels here, and welcome to another day in the Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage. Today, guys, we're working on our CBR1000. If this is your first episode of Wreck Bike Rebuild that you've ever seen, the guys and I here, we take wreck bikes, we turn them into dream bikes, and then we give those bikes away to our supporters over on Patreon. If you guys want to be one of those supporters, you can click that top link down below. That is how you win the motorcycles, and you can do so for as little as $5 a month. It's one coffee, 1 month you're sacrificing. You could possibly win a dream motorcycle that we're building here. So in today's episode, we are back on our CBR1000, and we are close to being able to have a roller. A roller is just the frame and the suspension and the wheels. But before we get to that point, we have to rebuild the forks. We have the fork legs here. If you guys notice, and we can show you a close-up here in a minute, these are the forks that came off of the motorcycle as we got it. So as you guys can see, we've kind of wiped it clean right here, but this fork has been leaked. To fix that problem, we are going to have to replace the seals on the fork. That's what we have right here, these little guys. Parts have been really hard to come by here in mid to late 2021, which is why this build has been thrown off time-wise a little bit. Today's episode should be relatively simple compared to the other stuff we've been doing. As you guys probably know, we just put out a full engine rebuild video. We have entirely taken the motorcycle apart. We've got these awesome fairings up top. So we are in the rebuilding phase of this motorcycle. Hopefully we can all learn something today. We got Brian here. I assume you're doing the research on figuring out the torque specs and whatnot. All that information, cool. Without further ado, guys, let's rebuild some forks.
First thing we have to do is turn both the compression and rebound adjusters all the way to the softest position, which is counterclockwise.
So what is this setting? So
this controls the compression
of the springs.
Oiling.
Okay.
And then this one controls the rebound oiling.
So they both have them individually.
Yeah, because the oil moves one way, this valve controls it. When it comes back the other way, this valve controls it.
Okay, so we have to independently loosen, basically.
Loosen these. So we have to count all the clicks to make sure we put them back to where they were before.
Okay, so let's loosen these things up. So the rebound, Luke, if you can see, there's a little dot. I've got dot on dot, and I'm going to use this dot on the silver as my anchor point to know. So adjusting these is relatively simple. That kind of makes me feel like I don't worry about changing my shit up now.
You just have to make sure that you log your starting point.
Right.
So if you change it and it feels like shit, you know you can go back to where you were.
Okay.
So the next thing that we have to do is we have to loosen
This is going to be a hard part because we're going to have to hold.
That's why I brought this over here.
Oh, Bryan Hack. So you're going to attach this on and use it as leverage against the table.
You got it.
Nice.
So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this on here. This is threaded about this deep. So you need to make sure that when you clamp this on, it's lower than where the threads are in here, because if you clamp over the threads, you won't be able to loosen it. Now, if you're doing this on your motorcycle, you would crack loose your upper triple tree, and then before you crack loose the lower one, you would loosen that.
Got it.
And once you loosen that, then you would loosen the lower triple and slide the fork out. So we're just gonna snug this on. And then that should be 24.
Was that loose or?
It was a little loose. We may have cracked them loose when we took it apart.
Were we smart like that?
We could have been.
Let's find out. Let's find out if I can do this. Oh, we were smart people.
So we cracked them loose before we took them
high five
apart.
to past us.
But if you do take your stuff apart, usually your triple tree is going to be pretty accessible after the forks are out.
That's a legit hack if you have the forks
yeah,
out
if you
already.
just grab this up and clamp it onto your fork and use this as your brace. If not, You could probably use a vise and a couple blocks of wood, but be very careful if it spins in the wood and the fork drops out. You could damage your fork. So if you're going to do something like that, be very mindful about what your reaction is going to be if it goes wrong. Now we need a drain pan. What's that?
Is that part of like the fork rebuilding in the manual?
Yeah, this is the whole fork section.
If you guys need manuals for your motorcycles, we've partnered up with Emanual to get the manuals for the CBR. I think we have manuals for all the bikes, if I remember correctly.
The 300 they didn't have available. We got it someplace else.
So they don't have manuals for every motorcycle, but these manuals are like 20 bucks or something like that. Super cost effective, especially if you're doing work on your bike. So we'll have a link to them down below. They've provided us with manuals, and we would have to have, even with Bryan here, we have to have manuals to do the work we're doing. When I undo this, I need to put pressure down because the spring's going to want to push it up, right?
It's probably not going to shoot up.
Okay.
But
just be ready for
it to pop.
Should I wear glasses for this?
You should always be wearing glasses. So,
Luke, glass me. Hold on. Can you hand me them now? All right, now that I'm safe.
There it is.
Oh, shit.
So now you're going to slide the fork leg down and pour all the oil out in the drain pan.
With this thing on top?
Yep, leave it up there. Nothing's going to fall out. Just, grab the whole thing and pour it out. Now there's a bolt down here that holds this inside the fork.
Okay.
So while there is still spring tension on the whole thing, I like to crack this bolt loose.
Okay.
Okay. Now here's the hard part that I was talking about. We have to pull this plastic piece down to expose the hardware underneath here.
Oh,
so there's a tool that fits in these two holes and it has a handle on it so you can push everything down.
Right.
So we're gonna have to try and figure out another way to do that.
So we have to hold it down and then get a tool in.
Underneath it to hold everything in place. So we'll grab a couple wrenches, different sizes, like a 12, 13, 14, and just lay them out here. And when I get this thing low enough, we have to kind of slide a wrench in there to hold everything in place.
So do I need to be ready to like get her in?
It's gonna go in like this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's enough. All right, 17.
Now we also need to hold the one on the bottom.
Kids have the right tools for
like a Jenga.
Okay. You can take that wrench off.
The little
This one?
Oh, okay.
Hang on.
What the fuck is that?
This is the adjuster. All right, so I'm gonna pull this down.
Okay.
Go ahead, pull it out.
Coming out.
All right. We're gonna need tools to put these back together.
Okay. So day one, disassembly.
Day two, reassembly. Because there ain't no way we're gonna be able to do that.
Yeah. Nope. All right, we got that off through sheer force.
Sheer force and will.
Your point is made.
See, like this job right here pretty much would have been impossible without that.
100%.
So that's why you buy shit like this. Because every now and again, it saves the whole job.
Bryan's was the thin one. I don't have a thin one.
I only have 2 skinny wrenches like that.
So where are we at now? What's our next move?
Now we take that bottom bolt out. And careful, this whole thing is just gonna like, it'll all fall apart once that bolt comes out.
All right, I think it's just, yeah, free spinning now.
Try and get it out of there. It may still be semi-attached to the inside.
So what'd you do to get it out? Get the O-ring?
Take the washer off.
Take the washer off. Okay.
So the washer, if you could see, has been crushed and the little lip is sticking out. And now it's wider than the head of the bolt.
I see.
So that's why it wouldn't come out of the hole. Okay, so now this is ready to pull apart. We have our spring.
Check.
And then here comes the internals.
That is way more stuff than I expected it to be.
And there should be one more part at the bottom. Can you grab that? Does not look like there is a cap at the bottom, but we'll find out for sure later. So yeah, very carefully, and it's not going to take a lot of force, just almost push straight down and it should start to pop the dust seal off. There it goes. There you go. Now try and just work it out. Shouldn't be in there real tight. So this is your dust seal that we just pulled up.
Yep.
Inside here is a ring that fits in a groove that keeps the oil seal in place. So when you grab that flathead and stick it behind one of those that sticks out and pry it inward and out.
Bird's the word.
Okay, now this is off. Now this is the fun part. You want to do this? You take the fork and pull it until it stops.
And
almost like hammer it apart. Don't let the fork go flying when it does come apart.
you know what? I'm just the man for this job, Brian.
It's gonna just tap it a few times. You're almost there. You're almost there. There it is.
Hi.
That bushing is clapped out.
Well, that's not a
we
big
have to
deal
get
because we
tools
had
anyway.
that doesn't
Okay,
slow us down.
so that's okay. We're all right. So there's a little split in this, and you pretty much just stick your fingers in between it and get it out of the groove. And it'll just slide right off.
So how do you know that's clapped out?
There is no copper left on the outside.
Oh, so this should be copper.
Yeah.
Colored.
Yep. See, like the inside of this one, the inside edge of that is all copper. That's how the outside of that one should be. Okay, and then this is a seat for all this stuff so it doesn't wreck the seal. And then this is your oil seal. This is your ring that holds your oil seal in place so it doesn't get pushed up by all this other stuff while it's moving. And then that's your dust seal.
A lot of seals.
2 seals, 2 bushings,
Well, a lot of
stuff
inside of a
and
fork.
there's stuff inside of there too.
Are we gonna disassemble that?
Absolutely not.
Good man. Okay.
Absolutely not.
So is this fully disassembled fork then?
For us.
All right. We brute forced and got to this point.
Yeah. Okay,
We
so
luckily did not break anything, but
we got it apart so we could show you all the cool stuff inside the fork. To reassemble this thing, we are absolutely 100% going to need the specialty tools that you would use to take it apart.
so we're gonna stop here for today, and we'll go to the next day. You want to snap with me to go to the next day when we have all the tools and we're more prepared to finish this episode?
All right,
3, 2, 1.
So we need to make sure that we set this whole thing back up again.
Forget about it the next time. And we just like, hi, welcome to the next day.
That would be funny. We're back. Welcome to day 2 of Fork Rebuild. Look what we got. There's a syringe in here.
Yeah, we'll explain that.
We ended the last day of the Fork Rebuild. We miraculously got this thing disassembled and realized this is not a one-man job nor a job for somebody without the right set of tools. So, in Wreck Bike Rebuild fashion, we bought this little Fork Rebuild kit. We also had to get other stuff. Brian, what else did we get?
We did. So when we took our fork apart, we came up with this clapped out, worn out fork bushing. And this one also is definitely on its way out. You can see how much of the copper has been worn away from the inside of there. So we got brand new ones.
Yay! So I am going to unbox this little kit to see what all we got. So Brian, tell us what each individual thing is, and I'll point at it with a little screwdriver.
That is emery cloth for cleaning up any damage that may be on your slider surfaces. The next 2 pieces, they actually screw into that ring.
Okay.
So if you want to pick that ring up and screw those little handles in, one on each side, and those 2 little tips are made to fit in there. So that's the tool that holds this in place, so you could push it down. There you go. So this is the specialty tool that you use instead of a wrench. As you can see, it is stepped different sizes, so it will fit over different thickness rods. The plunger, or the, what did you call it, a syringe?
Syringe.
If you hand me the syringe, and then the little aluminum circle, and the little metal rod, so when you're finished assembling your forks, you have to fill them with oil. They're gonna give you 2 specs when you fill it. They're gonna give you a volume, and then they're gonna give you a final spec, which is how high the oil sits from the top of the fork leg while everything is assembled. And then that little
Can of
jar
peanut
of
butter.
jelly,
Peanut butter.
it's just grease.
Oh, they even give us grease. What do we grease?
So what we grease is those seals on the inside lip before they go on. You want to give them a little grease to make sure that they slide over
Right.
and they don't get fetched up on anything and tear the seal. We'll also need a little bit of tape.
So at this point, we've already had one disassembled. Are we on disassemble the second one, or should we disassemble, reassemble this guy, and then move to the hem?
Yeah, I think it makes more sense to reassemble this one and get all these parts out of the way,
Okay.
and then we can work on the second one. So let's get some rags, some contact cleaner, and get to cleaning all this stuff up.
So just regular
And,
contact cleaner, that real strong shit?
Yeah, it should be fine. We don't want to spray anything on this directly. We want to spray it on a rag and wipe it down with a rag. You don't want to get any chemicals inside of that, because if they don't wick away, then they'll be in there to break down your oil.
Don't want that.
So you don't want that. So we're just going to clean that one with a rag from the outside. Everything else we're going to wipe down inside and out and get it all cleaned and prepped for reassembly.
All right, so let's do some cleaning.
Let's do some cleaning. Back to cleaning.
All right.
What a mess.
What a travesty
Now,
of a mess.
There's definitely one thing that you can never ever do when doing fork seals is stay clean. There is really no way to do this
We have proven that
and
today.
be clean. I mean, I've done 100 fork legs.
We didn't use these.
We didn't need to.
Cool. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury, that is, yep, it's a glove. That is totally rebuilding 2 fork legs of a CBR1000. Woo! It was taken apart and it was put back
I
together.
would call it a servicing.
That is 2 servicings of CBR1000RR fork legs.
Legs. Foot legs.
All right, before this gets any worse, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got. This is Wreck Bike Rebuild. Thank you for supporting the show. If you did, if you don't, you should. $5, you win motorcycles. It's a cool deal. All right, click down below to support more of this type of content.
He didn't get any of that.
It's just finger and face, the wall. Focus was all over the place. Hold on, let me put it on peaking if you're gonna go crazy. Go for it. I don't have to do anything now.
Guys, we really appreciate you watching this video. And if you would like to support the shenanigans we get into and, you know, maybe win a motorcycle or two, $5 a month. And you could help support more things that we do right here. Okay, hopefully you guys learned something. If you didn't, hopefully it was enjoyable. Don't know how long this video is, but for that long. Brian, Any last thoughts? Any last tips? Are you excited for the next episode where we start continuing the rebuild process of our CBR1000 that is taking far too long?
I'm always happy when we're going back together.
Me too. Me too, because it means
I'm also very
moving in the
happy
right
finding
direction.
the really broken stuff.
I know you are. I think that's you're at your happiest
I
there.
like broken. And then I like to figure out what made the broken.
Right. All right, fork legs. Level of 1 to 10. How hard of a job is this to do for those guys?
For those guys, this is probably like a level 7, 8 job.
Shit. Yeah, so good luck. Make sure you have a manual because this, a level 8 out of 10 Bryan faces. Hey, what's our next episode?
I think our next episode is making a roller.
It's going to be an exciting one. We can't wait to see you guys on that one. Goodbye. Outro crew, what kind of shoes are y'all wearing? Let us know in the comments down.
Did you just reach up and knock his foot down? Like, I missed that.
Bro, bring your new shoes over here. Outro crew, if you made it to the end of the video, that's what we call the outro crew. So you guys do a couple things for us. Make sure to hit that like button because you watched the whole video and we entertained you for that period of time.
Put them right there next to the cardboard.
Look at this. Bo comes back from Indiana with fucking Bucky shoes. Judge him in the comments.
You have a shoe, you asshole.
Okay. Be careful. The floor is super slippery.
I know. You took my only thing holding me up.